I want to quickly show you all the ways I've used Heat in this project. 15 times in total, more often some subtle tonal changes or adding just a little bit saturation, but in some instances it makes it very cool and unique and different. First thing that I want to show you is this build-up thing. With Heat on, it sounds like this. And here's without it. Very drastic difference. It's a lot more pronounced with a lot of low noises coming to a higher volume, so you hear a lot more of the input signal with all the weird stuff in it, so it's very cool. Second one is this. Basically you can hear notes of each hit, which can be dangerous, but I really like it here. So here's some hit on the low bass. Basically it's an amp sim, you know? No, you will need a mirror to figure this one out, but yeah, you can just use it to make cool bass sounds, and you basically don't need anything more. I just used a cab loader here. You're all set. I've also used it on a rhythm guitar that I've played in the video, but here is very subtle. I just controlled some lows. I've cut a lot of highs before the amp, because when you play in very low tuning, it's important to control the highs a lot, as well as lows. So yeah, we're cutting lows as well. Very subtle, but it helps a lot. I've also used it on fake guitars, which is MIDI. Yeah, here it's basically an amp sim. We have no name module, which we'll never guess what it's based on, I guess. It makes it sound very different. All the heavy lifting is on Heat, so you can basically use it as an amp sim as well. And here's Heat on sub-synth that I used in the song. Here's without it. Heat helps a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on the piano, so here's how piano sounds on its own. Very boring and uninspired, you know, just MIDI piano. But when we add Heat and some reverb, I've made it more drastic with using OTT, but yeah, the inspiration for that came from using Inferno module. And basically I don't use it as a piano anymore. I use it as a very huge distorted percussion thing in the intro. I'm also using Heat on lead guitar. Adds a lot of grit to it, very cool, and I've also added some lows to make it more clear in the mix. When we boost lows into the amp, it just sounds better, in this case, with lead guitars. I've also used it on this guitar. Here's without it and here's with it. A lot clearer sound with a lot more highs, very pronounced, and I can clearly hear it, especially in a dance mix. I'm also using Heat as a tone shaping tool on these two guitars. It's a very processed sound, but I've tone shaped a lot of it, and it really helps to make it sound the way I want it to sound. Heat is also very cool on acoustic guitars, because you want acoustic guitar to have that brilliance, to make it very pleasant to the ear, to make it high but not harsh. And Heat helps a lot here, check it out. difference is huge. I've also used it on soundscapes. Without it. Again, I'm adding grit and character to it, so it sounds more interesting and you can clearly hear it in the mix. Same thing with this alarm sound. Bringing down lows, bringing up highs, adding grit to make it hearable. And the last thing that I want to show you is that snare impact, which basically stopped being snare impact and became a very weird, cool thing. And here's how it sounded before. So, you know, just a boring snare sample. But with Heat, it's possible by using Reheat, which is their feedback module, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It adds a note to everything that I've tried it on. I basically just used Autotune to make this weird transition from one note to another. So thank you very much for checking it out. Heat is very cool. I really recommend it. It can basically be a tone shaping tool, a saturation tool. It can be your amp sim. It can be a bass amp sim. You can basically do whole mixes with it, I guess, if you're crazy enough.